Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to daily stock market end of day update. Starting with Nasdaq, you can see this is weekly chart of a Nasdaq, and you can see what's happening here. This is the weekly candle just getting started. We came between red line and green line, and we are bottoming, and most likely it looks like this bottom Monday 25th of September is bottom in a bull market. We always go between green and red lines, and we bottom, you can see, always go here between these two lines. Best case we touch green line and bounce, and the worst case we come very close to red line and then we bounce. We can show you here, and you can see however you want to go, however long you want to go, always go between these two lines. You can see since 2016 and then bottom. All right, so again, the bottom line is, looks like we bottom, we came very close to red line, we did not touch it. Looks like now from here we're going towards new all-time highs. Obviously we're not going to go in straight line, so this is my projection. We're going to have a little bit of dips before we go higher, but if you can hold from now till new year, I think we are looking at almost 11%, more than 11% gain. I'm looking for new all-time high from here onwards. All right, so that's on weekly chart. If I go to daily chart, let me get rid of this indicator. Let me bring other indicator here, 10 in 1 moving average, and then you can see this moving this daily chart. You can see what's going on here. We close between all the EMA lines. All right, you can see here this red is the 50 daily SMA line, and then yellow is the 50 daily EMA line, then white is 20 EMA, and green is 10 moving average. So we are above all the moving averages, and now this is a very bullish sign. Today's close, although we got inverse Thor hammer, that means the price action got rejected, but there you can see all these yellow lines are the gaps to fill to the top side. From here, at minimum, we could get a little bit pullback. Okay, we can get pullback, but that pullback will be the dip to buy. No guarantees. If tomorrow we can stay above this red line, that's going to be very bullish, and we're looking for new all-time highs from now until end of this year. All right, so that's the daily chart. And on triple Qs, the levels are same thing here. You can see triple Qs is the cash index of Nasdaq, and then US 100. Same thing here. You can see closed above red 50 daily SMA, and now we're looking for maybe a little bit pullback and then go higher. We could even go, you can see even this resistance is, let me quickly hide these lines. I will show you here. It's a bit visible here. You can see on a daily chart we also have this downward sloping resistance. It's quite possible we can go a little bit more higher. We can even go here on this resistance and then get a pullback. That's also quite possible, or we can get pullback anytime, even now. All right, so just be mindful of that. This is what I'm expecting. So we're gonna go like here, and actually I think I'm looking for this breakout, back test, and then go high. This is my possible scenario, and this is the one resistance here. Also, this trend line is coming here. Even if you make a new high, most likely that will be a divergent high. What that means is we can draw an arrow here. You can see RSI is still going lower. So even if we keep going higher, RSI could still have a divergent high, and until that's burned through, we could get a crash later on next year. But for now, looks like we're heading higher to a new all-time high. So nothing else changed. So let me bring back this indicator, and this is a new way of doing things. So anyhow, so again, so very nice close above 50 SMA. Now let's go to S&P 500. You can see what's happening on S&P 500. Let's quickly go to SPX chart, SPX daily chart, to see if we see anything else here. And you can see SPX is now closing above this white line, which is 20 EMA line. All right, so it's closing above that, got rejected on this yellow line. Yellow line is 50 EMA, daily 50 EMA. Now it got a little bit rejected, but it's still above this moving average. And if I go to you can see, if I show you short term 1 hour chart, you can see what's happening. We're trying to we are developing a change of trend. Okay, we just made a new high. All right, you can see this previous high, we made a new high. So now we're changing trend on shorter time frame. And even if I go to daily chart, you can see similar. We had this previous high, we're now going above that. Now we can make a higher low, and then we can go higher. And you can see here, actually, let me go back to this two projections here. So this green one is not validated. So now we're going towards this yellow one. So looks like we're going higher now from here. And even on this, we can draw some kind of a trend line here on SPX, something like this. All right, so we can find some resistance after going here, but eventually my target is new all-time high on S&P 500. We're not going to go obviously straight up from here. The new high is almost around 11%, similar to Nasdaq. So we're looking for around 10% gains. If you can be patient and hold, and if you go triple X ETF, you can make 30%, and double X ETF, you can make 20% gains. A lot of gains are possible from now until end of this year. So a couple of months, you just got to be patient and hold all these. All right. Okay, so let's quickly go to S&P 500 SPY, and you can see same thing here. Let me actually bring back these indicators. It helps to review how things are going. So you can see here all the moving averages are stacked here, and you can see same thing here. Actually on SPY we have this trend line. We are closing above this trend line, this 200 EMA, this blue line, and this light blue line is 200 SMA. Now we're closing above that. We came very close to that, did not touch it, but now we're bouncing and we're back above this white line, this white trend line, so which is a very bullish move. We just need to stay above that, and if we can stay above that, we could get a pullback, a little bit pullback, it's possible. Or I think we most likely going to fill this gap. This gap is around here 438. Looks like we want to fill this gap. Maybe then we will get a pullback on this trend line, and then we're gonna go break this, and then we're gonna keep going higher from here. All right, so S&P 500 looking for new highs, and the target is previous high around 480, and we can go even higher than that. All right, Dow Jones is a bit weaker, but it's struggling. You can see came very close to fill this gap, but did not fill it fully. So I'm going to leave it open. Oh, before I go back, SPY, there is a gap here. Today we gapped up. We did not close this gap, so this gap is around 432. We could get a pullback in the morning tomorrow. We could get a pullback around 0.5% to fill this gap and then go higher. Okay, just be mindful of that. If you get a pullback, this 432.31 is the perfect time to buy, and then we're gonna bounce. All right, just be mindful of that. Dow Jones, same thing. This gap is not fully closed around 339.09, so I'm looking for that gap to fill finally, and then maybe a little bit of pullback and then go higher. And also there's this downward sloping trend line. You can see here, it's finding some resistance on this 200 EMA and 200 SMA, dark blue and light blue line. Maybe get a little bit pullback and then go higher. All right. IWM, which is Russell 2000. If you go to hourly chart, still we got a gap up. You can see a little bit of gap up here. That gap is not filled, so maybe we'll get a little bit of pullback, fill this gap fully before we can go higher. And also the good news is we are now above this dotted trend line. Okay, so this is also good news, and we're looking for new prices on IWM, Russell 2000 as well. Gold just cooling off. Only issue is this gap. It gapped up yesterday because of this Israel news, and looking for this this to come back eventually, fill this gap before it goes higher. All right. Silver had no gaps, but it will follow gold. So a little bit of pullback. It's near resistance, a little bit of pullback, and then go higher. Natural gas, very, very bullish. Looking for this parabolic move. This biggest gap is coming around 4.34, just going straight up. So straight down, looking for straight up. Also now it's above all the moving averages. It has full bull trend. What bull trend means? The price action is above all moving averages, and they're stacked up. All quickest moving average, 10 moving average is above 20 is above 50, and 50 is above 200. Okay, so this is like in a full bull trend, and it's look to buy all the dips on natural gas. Crude oil consolidating again. It had a gap up, this dotted line, $82 almost. So looking for a little bit of pullback, and then it can go higher, but I think the top is in. It can look to fill gap from here, and then it will decide next move if it wants to go up or it's going to break down, but looking for this gap to fill short term. Dollar index again in the support zone. This whole zone is a support zone, pulling back. Now this is a support area. If it can bounce from here, that's going to be bearish for stock and gold and Bitcoin, but if it can drop from here, that's going to be bullish for stock and gold market. Bitcoin had a red, still this day is not ended. I'm getting a red dot, which is not a good sign. It's finding support on this white EMA line, 20 EMA line. If it can hold here, I was expecting a pullback. You can see this green path. I was expecting a pullback. If it can hold here, that will be a good opportunity to buy before a rip higher to new highs. But I'm getting this red dot, which is not good sign. Now, in order to turn this to a green dot. If you can get a green dot, like what happened here, we got red dot next day, right away we got green dot. I want to see that to turn bullish, but if you got a red dot, you got to be very, very careful, and you should be looking to lock your profit because we could be getting more downside moves. So I have to wait for I get the green dot. For so far, this day is not closed, but looks like it will close on a red dot, which is not a good sign. Ethereum also same thing. We got a red dot here on 5th of October. Now we're going down. So now you have to wait for this green dot to appear. Until that, things are not looking good. Looks like Ethereum is heading lower and things are changing. So, but these indicators are telling us, so we don't have to do anything. Just wait for indicators to turn bullish again. Quickly look at other stocks. Apple. Apple failed to cross above 50 EMA and 50 SMA. Really want to see it close above that. Next target is 181. This is the gap fill. Tesla above all moving averages. You can see all moving averages and above this trend line as well. So next target is this gap fill, earnings gap fill around 291. Microsoft also above all moving averages, just broke out, just consolidating and getting higher, getting ready for another massive move. So looking for a pump very, very soon, because 2 days in a row it held above, 3 days in a row it held above all moving averages, which is good sign. Google also all above all moving averages, finding this resistance here on this trend line. Backtesting, finding resistance here. Meta, Facebook above all moving averages. However, we have a little bit of you can see here lower momentum on RSI, which is not a good news. But if it can keep going higher, then that will burn through. All right. Amazon also struggling around this white line, which is 20 moving average. And let's see, actually, let's go to 1 hour chart. Did this gap get filled? Actually, it did get filled, so we can delete this. This gap is deleted now. So let's go back to daily chart, looking for this to close above this red line, 50 SMA, and then this gap 131.7. Netflix, massive downside move. I don't know what happened. There was some kind of a news put a lot of pressure on Netflix to go down, but got rejected here, right here on this 20 negatively sloping EMA line. And if I go to 1 hour chart, you can see we had higher momentum, price was going down, broke out, and now it's not holding, which is not a good sign. So really want to see it's finding support on this blue line, which is 200 EMA. Really want this to hold here. If it goes down, there's a gap here around 341, which is not good, and that gap from here is around almost 8% up away. Okay, so earnings is also coming very soon. So let's see, either we go fill this gap on 18th October, or we pump higher and fill this gap. Snowflakes, very bullish moves above all moving averages. And let's go to 1 hour chart. This gap is filled. You can see this gap was there in the morning, and I marked it here so I can delete this now. This gap was filled, so nothing here above all moving averages is price. So Snowflake is looking bullish. These two gaps are the targets. NVDA also above all moving averages. There's a gap here on 468, looking to fill that. AMD also above all moving averages, looking for higher prices, maybe backtest this trend line. Toronto Stock Exchange, gap up. So looking for this to fill the gap. I don't know when, but it will eventually come fill this gap, then go higher. Hang Seng Index broke out. Okay, you can see broke out of this downward trend line, this dotted line. Broke out above this white 20 EMA, but now finding resistance on this 50 SMA. So wait for this to close above that. But it's a good sign because we broke out, and things are looking good for China sector. Bond market finding resistance on this downward sloping 20 EMA, and also this downward dotted line. So wait for it to close. Also there's this horizontal resistance, red resistance. So wait for it to go above that. Copper in the buy box, nothing has changed. Look to buy all the dips. So copper is looking good to buy here. Palladium, all of a sudden 2.99% move. It was down right on the support. I have this marked here 1139, with this has massive support. Actually, I'm going to make it purple so it's not confused with the gaps, and it's bouncing. So this could be the time bottom might be in on Palladium. Very good time to buy PALL. Wheat struggling, but again just doing a backtest, downward sloping channel, higher momentum, backtest one, again multiple backtest, but you can see higher momentum. Looking for it to hold, and this is all an accumulation time. Okay, looks like it's trying to form bottom here. Corn also same thing, finding pressure on this downward sloping 50 SMA. So looks like a bottom pattern here as well. Soya beans also in the buy zone here. This is a buy box, looking to bottom here very soon. Sugar, massive move above all moving averages, and also we had a green buy signal yesterday. Let's see if it can come back down to this trend line. That will be good time to buy. So we're done with commodities. Let's quickly look at gold miners, Newmont mine, gap below here. I don't know when it's going to fill this gap, but there are multiple gaps to the up, one gap to the down. So let's see if gold can fill that gap to the downside first. That would be very good. So this can also fill this gap and then go higher. But this is all just speculation for now. Gold miner, again, this gap is here. So I got to make sure, be very careful here because we could come back down, fill this gap before going higher from here. And let's look at all the sectors here. As XLK above all moving averages, barely just managed to close above this 50 SMA red line, so which is good news. Looking for this to hold here and then bounce. XLE energy sector, also massive gap here. So I think from here we could get a little bit of downside before we go higher, looking to fill this gap before it goes higher. XLV energy sector above this trend line. So nothing changed, looking for higher prices, finding resistance on this 200 EMA and SMA. So looking for higher prices. XLU, massive move, 1% up. This gap, yellow line, this is resistance or gap. Looking for that to fill. Maybe make a higher low and then go higher from here. Industrials also looking very solid above all moving averages and looking for new all-time high from here. Just be patient. Real estate sector also massive best time to buy in the buy zone, looking for higher prices. And financials also flat but got rejected on this. There's also this gap here, so that's the thing which is bothering me. So I think maybe tomorrow we're going to come down from here, fill this gap and then go higher. All right. So these are all the sectors, and I think that's pretty much it. That covers everything. And let's quickly look at the levels. And I was sharing this with my private member group. By the way, if you want to join private member group, I share pre-market videos with members, and you can easily make good profits. And it's very cheap. It's like almost $6 a month. So you can make for the entire subscription for the year. One trade can make you money for the entire year. So you can see, for example, this morning I was telling everybody, even in the private group, that we are above. So these red lines are resistance, green lines are the buy lines. And you can see here, I was telling around in the morning 9:30, we are near resistance. And we could get, it's possible, these are all the levels you would be looking to sell. Okay, so we went above second standard deviation, so the best level to sell is between second and third. And look what happened, we got rejected here, and S&P 500 closed 0.5% down. From here, we're still in the sell zone. We could come down to neutral zone, and the buy zones are here, 4307. So in worst case, if we fall, because I'm expecting a pullback, if we fall around 1%, good time to buy. Also, it can come to around 0.5%, which is neutral zone, which is no trade zone. You can come there, and then you can buy as well there. Nasdaq 100, same thing. We had a massive bounce. This was a perfect time to short. And then I shared these levels with my subscribers, and you can see here now today we closed between very close to sell zone. So I'm really looking for tomorrow to this thing to neutralize near the white zone, white line, and then from there the next move will happen. Dow Jones, same thing here, similar story. These are the levels, you can take a screenshot. And then last one is Russell 2000, which is also near sell zone. Bitcoin quickly bouncing from the buy zone. Good time to buy still. So 27,300 and below look to buy. Ethereum also still in the buy zone. All right, guys. Okay, guys. Hopefully this was helpful. And on your way out, please hit the like button and please share with your friends and family. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.